That dude was extremely athletic. He was quick as a cat, and he wanted to keep the score close, and obviously I didn't. And so I had to be the opposite of the type of perspective that he brought to the match. I'm a guy who scores points and thrives on the crowd's energy, and so I wanted to score as many points as possible. I think I did that and finished with a fall.
Excuse me, guys. Could we push back a little bit? We have some other. Jordan, want to move over here? I'm sorry. I just want to make it safe.
Obviously, this is not the type of venue that you wrestle in every day. Were you aware during the match at any point?
Yeah, this is actually my third time wrestling here in Times Square, so it gets better every year. The crowd is more excited. I knew that the elements were a little bit different, a little bit colder in here than it is in the wrestling room or arena, but wrestling's the same. No matter if you're wrestling here on top of the Empire State Building, I still want to score points.
Is it too soon to look ahead to the World Championships?
No, not at all. I think the trials are June 14th for me, so I'll be competing against a couple of tough guys. Obviously, you saw David Taylor here, who had a great win against a world medalist, and so it's not going to be easy, but I thrive on doing the hard stuff.
How about is it too soon to look ahead to that big event in Rio next year?
Yeah, something in Rio going on in 2016. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I've been preparing for it for my entire life, so I'm excited about the opportunity. I've done it once in London, and once you have that feeling and that emotion captured in that moment of jubilation on top of the podium, you chase your whole life. You're spend your whole life chasing it again.
As you said, you got that feeling once, and then you get to wait 4 years. And
Seriously, success is like a drug. I've never done drugs, obviously I'm an athlete, but having that feeling of standing on top of the podium, representing my country, my family crying in the stands, is unlike any other I've experienced as a wrestler. And so that emotion, if I could just bottle it up and put it in 2016, there's 5 or 6 guys standing in my way, and I'm knocking any of them down to get to it again.
What have these 4 years, really now 3 years, been like for you? How do you think you managed?
It's been different. I've been married since the Olympics. I've had a son since the Olympics, and so I've got a 10-month-old and a wife at home that really have to sacrifice for me to continue to pursue my goals of being the best in the world. So it's definitely not easy, but that's wrestling and that's life.
How special was it wrestling against the Cuban team, especially given the circumstances of that?
It's great. It's great. We've always had a great relationship with Cuba, but it's nice to have them on American soil. And so anytime I get to wrestle a foreign opponent in front of my home crowd, I grew up in Sicklerville, New Jersey, about an hour and a half away from here. It's awesome, dude. And so there's no event like this in the world. The Olympics are awesome, World Championships are awesome, but there are people here who've never seen a wrestling match in their entire lives and got to see me wrestle tonight, so it's pretty cool.
Jordan, what did wrestling mean to you as a youth?
It was awesome. It's brought me to a place in my life that I could never imagine without my career in wrestling. And so I met my wife through wrestling. I've got a free college degree. I've traveled the world and made lifelong friendships and relationships through the sport. So I definitely couldn't see myself without it.
So talk about the kids that this ends up helping, Jordan. I mean, honestly, this is great competition, but
I think people forget about that. I think we are the show and the entertainment, but the main ideal is to raise money for Beat the Streets organization here in New York City. And so I think they have some 3,000 members of the youth that they're getting off the streets and into the wrestling rooms throughout the country. And so as a kid, wrestling wasn't really cool. All my friends played basketball and football, and so I think we can really establish this as a sport that's awesome and that brings you places in life that no other sport can. It teaches you character, perseverance, and a lot of integrity. And so that's why I've continued with it this long, and I'm hoping kids will do the same.
Even just in the last couple of years, what areas do you think you've been able to improve from where you are?
I think I've become a better wrestler. Trying to become a better interviewee. But it's tough. It's a tough sport. I've kind of been thrust into the spotlight. When I got out of college, I realized that I was good and I had something special, but I would have never imagined that I'd be the best wrestler the world's seen in a long time. And so that's really tough to be put in that position. I really had to be groomed into this position that I'm in now, and I think I've done pretty well.